agent in charge of the FBI, John Strong. I also have here Dana Bente. You may know Dana as a recent newsmaker. He was the acting Attorney General. Previously, he was the acting Deputy Attorney General, and he is now the acting Assistant Attorney General at the National Security Division at Main Justice. And we're really pleased to have him here today from the Department of Justice supporting us in this very important initiative. So I'd like to turn it over to Dana Bente.
Okay. One more handout.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Jill. It's very kind of your introduction. And good afternoon to everyone here. I'm privileged to be here in Charlotte today to announce the arrest and indictment of the 83 leaders and members of the United Blut-nation. This gang, which comes out of the New York State prison system over 2 decades ago, has spread its influence and tentacles throughout a lot of the East Coast, including here in North Carolina. With today's charges, we are bringing to justice these suspected gang members who are alleged to have committed very serious crimes. As the citizens of North Carolina have learned firsthand, violent street gangs pose a huge challenge and a clear threat to the community.
Are your cell phones turned down and silent, everybody? Everyone? Okay, good. Thank you. So you have copies of the indictment that was sent out to everybody earlier.
I want to personally thank all of our local and state partners who were here, in addition to the Federal Bureau of Investigation. As you all know, this is Police Week, and the Attorney General has recently met with multiple law enforcement entities who have had officers and agents make the ultimate sacrifice. He wants to make something clear to law enforcement and the public, his personal thank you. Thank you for doing what you do each day. You embody the selflessness, commitment, and courage. He wants you to know that he has your back and his thanks. Finally, this task is not easy. Dismantling gangs is not easy. But we can do it, and with a sustained commitment from our law enforcement partners and all the Americans who refuse to allow gang violence in their communities. Together, we can drive these gangs out of our communities, reclaim the streets from their violence, and give young people a more hopeful future. Now I'll turn it back over to Jill. Thank you.
Thank you, Assistant Attorney General Bente. Your presence today really signifies for us here in the Western District the department-wide commitment to this important work. You may have already seen it, but this is the indictment that was returned by a federal grand jury this week. This indictment represents so much more than the 162 pages, 83 defendants, and 69 charges contained within it. This indictment represents 6 dead, 9 attempted murders, robberies, guns, drug distribution. It represents a lot of crimes, violent crimes, that you might expect from a gang like the United Blut-nation. Identity theft, credit card fraud, bank fraud, white-collar crimes that you would not normally perceive to be those associated with a street gang, but those crimes too are alleged in this bill of indictment. And they signify the sophistication and the diversification of this network, the United Blut-nation. The indictment alleges that from 2009 until the present, that these 83 gang members operated a criminal organization that engaged in multiple acts of violence to generate proceeds for gang dues, to support their members in prison. This organization committed crimes to enhance and maintain its violent reputation as a gang to be feared, and in some circles, unfortunately, admired. These gang members committed crimes to show that they were in control of our communities. They had rules. They were organized. They disciplined members who did not follow those rules. They disciplined people that they believed to be cooperating with law enforcement. And they held meetings to plan future crimes and territorial expansions. They wanted to get bigger and stronger. That's why we here at the U.S. Attorney's Office, along with our partners from the Department of Justice, are effectively using the racketeering statutes that Mr. Bente referenced. If you look in count 1 of this bill of indictment, it talks about the RICO statutes. And you may know that the RICO statutes were originally used for organizations like the mob, the Cosa Nostra, but we are now using them effectively against gangs and organizations like the UBN. So today we stand together with a very strong message, a message for the UBN. 83 of your leaders, your members, your soldiers have been charged federally. 83 less UBN members are here in our community, and 83 corrupt criminals now face a resolute Department of Justice. So our message to the UBN is we have come for you, and we're going to keep coming for you. As long as you engage in this violent, destructive, and criminal conduct, this is not the end. We're just getting started. And for other criminal organizations and gangs like the UBN, other street gangs who are terrorizing our communities, take note. We are now, under this new administration, unleashing all the laws at our disposal to disrupt and dismantle criminal organizations. And I want you to look at the team assembled here today. We have the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department, Gastonia Police Department, Shelby Police Department, Cleveland County Sheriff's Office. We have North Carolina Highway Patrol with the Department of Public Safety. These are our longstanding partners. And this, too, is part of the greater message with this indictment, that our partnerships are strong, our partnerships are committed, and it is through these partnerships that we will continue to disassemble, member by member, click by click, set by set, these violent street gangs. So these charges today against the United Blut-nation signal a win. They already signal a win for the citizens of the Western District of North Carolina. They signal a win for communities struggling under oppressive gang control, violence, and drug distribution. So this is the message, too, that we are going to use all of our available laws and all of our available resources and all of our critical partnerships to dismantle these criminal networks. I want to thank you, members of the media, because you are performing an important service by letting the community know that we are here to serve them, and that's what we're doing with this important work. And you, too, can help us get the message that we are here to bring order to neighborhoods that have been ravaged by this violent conduct. And you can help get the message to the community that we are unflinching in this endeavor. So thank you. I'm going to introduce you again to Special Agent in Charge, John Strong from the FBI. He's going to discuss the details of the enforcement action today. At the conclusion of Special Agent Strong's comments, I'll return to the podium and I'll be happy to take any of your questions. Again, thank you for being here. Special Agent Strong.
Thank you, Jill. Good afternoon, everybody. As the Special Agent in Charge of the FBI in North Carolina, I'm honored to represent all the law enforcement agencies that took part in this investigation and today's massive arrest operation. I want you to look around the room. The local, state, and federal partners you see here represent a level of collaboration and cooperation unlike any other gang case we've investigated to date here in North Carolina. The result, 83 people face a federal RICO indictment. We are all safer in North Carolina this afternoon because the United Blut-nation, 9 Trey gangsters' criminal enterprise has been disrupted. Before sunrise this morning, approximately 600 law enforcement officers set out to arrest 55 members of the 9 Trey gangsters. The remaining 28 subjects were already in custody, either serving time in prison or arrested for other crimes during the course of our investigation. We used multiple FBI SWAT teams along with tactical teams from our law enforcement partners to get the most dangerous subjects into custody without incident. Additionally, we had arrest teams from other parts of North Carolina and up and down the East Coast in New York, South Carolina, and Florida to assist us in getting these subjects off the streets. As of right now, of the 83 indicted subjects, 73 of them are in custody and 10 are actively still being sought. During the course of this investigation, FBI agents and officers have seized 36 firearms. Many were stolen, others had obliterated serial numbers. Seized heroin, cocaine, crack cocaine, marijuana, MDMA, more commonly known as ecstasy, prescription pills, and other narcotics and drug paraphernalia. Also seized were counterfeit checks and credit cards and credit card making devices. It's important to point out that as our investigation expanded over the past 5 years, so did the size of the team. No agency could take on this case alone, not even the FBI. More than a dozen state, local, and federal partners worked with the FBI on this investigation. While some of those agencies joined us recently to help effect this massive arrest operation, others have engaged hand in hand with the FBI for many years. The Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department, the North Carolina State Highway Patrol, the Cleveland County Sheriff's Office, the Shelby Police Department, the Gastonia Police Department, and the North Carolina Division of Adult Corrections, Juvenile Justice, and the Highway Patrol, each dedicated significant resources to gather the evidence to put the members of this violent, ruthless gang behind bars. The public deserves to feel safe in their neighborhoods, and they rely on us to provide that safety. We will continue to do everything we can to ensure the public can live free of fear, violence, and intimidation. The gangs, these crimes these gang members are responsible for, the murders, the assaults, the robberies, the drug deals, each and every crime they committed in the name of the 9 Trey was a blow to the safety of our communities. Innocent families shouldn't suffer because of the violent action of others. These criminals took pride in their cold-blooded and callous actions. They gave themselves names like Kill 'em, Cutthroat, Murder Mo, and Bang. Don't be mistaken. To anyone who tries to fill the criminal void left by today's arrests, you should know we'll come after you next. We are watching. We see the crimes. We see the gunfire. And we will work tirelessly to gather the evidence we need to make criminal gang members pay for the damage they do to our hometowns. We see you, and trust me, you don't want to be on our radar. The agencies in this room acted as a force multiplier, and we will take violent gangs down just like we did today. We are working every day to stop gangs in North Carolina. Through the collective efforts of the FBI's Safe Streets Task Force, we put agents and detectives in the same room where they can share real-time intelligence and information and act as one force to address the threat this gang and others pose to the safety of our communities. And we will not stop until the violence ends. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Before I begin to take questions, I do want to thank again Acting Assistant Attorney General Dana Bente for being here on behalf of Attorney General Sessions. We're really pleased to have the support of the department and the support of the Attorney General in this endeavor. Mr. Bente has been with us all day. He took the opportunity to meet with local law enforcement. He's met with the office, and he has a flight to catch. So I'm going to thank you and excuse you to catch your flight, and we're very grateful for your commitment. Thank you so much. All right, any questions? Yes.
In states, yeah, it's on the map here, on breaking down by the states. That is accurate, yes.
The bulk of the violent crime And the other crimes alleged in the bill of indictment occurred in Mecklenburg, Gaston, and Cleveland counties. So right here in Western District of North Carolina is where the bulk of these crimes occurred. But there were others elsewhere in the state because this is a national gang. Generally, in the northwest sector would be the most significant areas where this occurred.
Who are the victims of the murder?
That's outlined in the bill of indictment. There, as I said, are 6 victims of murder, some in the Eastern District of North Carolina, down in Hanover County. But as I said, this gang was looking to expand their territory, and some of these actions were in furtherance of enhancing and maintaining their violent reputation. So there are 6 dead as a result of the actions of these 83.
You mentioned the white-collar crimes.
Yes.
Do you know why these gangs are getting more involved in white-collar crimes? That there are other revenue sources they're making stuff out?
It's absolutely a revenue source. As I said, as part of their organization, they raise dues. They raise dues to keep themselves going and to support those who are incarcerated. But certainly fraud is lucrative for them. And there's about $50,000 worth of fraud that was committed as alleged in this bill of indictment.
Can you talk about the command sort of area? Was Charlotte the hub of all of this, or was some other place? And who's the Al Capone out of the
Right. Well, like any large criminal network, the organization is extensive. The Godfathers, a number of which we indicted, are incarcerated in the New York Department of Corrections. We were able to, through investigative activities, to trace criminal activities, and they're overseeing the crimes, directing activities, directing whether it was hits or punishment or other types of criminal activity. They had to sanction any of these murders. So, of course, we go to what we would call the Godfathers, which are the leaders who are located in prison already in New York. That filtered down through the command structure of the United Blut-nation, which includes generals, 1-star, 2-star, 3-star, 4-star. Then you have leaders and heads. And then it goes down to street soldiers called the Scraps. And so it's an extensive organization, multi-layered, and that's why the RICO statutes are so effective.
So without asking for specific evidence, you know that the big guys in New York were running the operation while they were locked up.
Absolutely, sir. That's why we charge them.
And those people are the 83, are the 83?
Yes. Yes.
The recent Blood member that was recently sentenced to prison, did he assist in this investigation any type of way for a plea deal or anything?
He did not.
Of the 10 suspects still out, where is the breakdown today?
Well, North Carolina Department of Corrections or New York Department of Corrections, they're incarcerated.
No, I'm talking about the 10 that are still out. You said
If we knew where they were, we'd have them. Yeah.
I can tell you that generally where they are, where we started looking for
Well,
them.
apparently they're not there, but that's where.
They're not there. Where we were looking for them, 5 were in Charlotte, 3 were in Shelby, 1 in Miami, and 1 in Columbia.
Other questions?
Cocaine was seized?
I'm sorry?
How much cocaine was seized?
I don't have that, how much.
You mentioned unleashing, the full effect of the laws under the new administration. Was there a very strong and very direct message under the new administration to go after these large gangs instead of the big MS-13 busts in Los Angeles? Why is this happening now? Obviously, this investigation is probably.
This investigation has been going on for quite a while, and the RICO statutes have been around. As I said, we're just now effectively using them. As they've become more sophisticated, so have we in infiltrating and learning more about their organizations. So this has been going on before this administration came in, but certainly you can only imagine for our law enforcement partners and for the prosecutors at the core of this case, the case AUSA, having the support of the Department of Justice, having the ability to use the laws that were on the books from which we were previously restrained a bit. It's refreshing and we're grateful to have it.
Can you elaborate more on what laws you were restraining on?
Well, we were restrained on our ability to charge drug dealers with carrying firearms. We were prohibited from charging mandatory minimum sentences whenever we knew that drug dealers had the statutorily required amount. So certainly, I think that has contributed to the rise in violent crime that we've seen, and we're working to lower those statistics again with our state and local partners. We sure can't do it alone.